Sundar Pichai was born in 1972 in a city called Chennai, in the southern part of India. At that time, Chennai was known as Madras. His family lived in a very small apartment. The apartment had only 2 rooms. During the day, the front room was the living room. At night, the same room became the bedroom for the whole family. There was no television, there was no refrigerator. There was no air conditioner, there was only one fan, and on hot summer days, the house became very hot. Still, Sundar's family did not complain. They lived a simple and happy life. Sundar's father was an electrical engineer. He worked at a company where he repaired machines and electrical parts. Every evening after work, he would come home and talk about his job. He told Sundar how things worked, how electricity moved through wires, and how machines were designed. Sundar loved listening to these stories. He was always curious and asked many questions. His father answered patiently. These evening talks made Sundar more interested in learning. They helped him understand how engineers think and how important knowledge is. His mother was a stenographer. She could type very fast and wrote in shorthand. But she left her job to stay home and take care of her children. Sundar had a younger brother. The 2 boys shared the same room. Sometimes, other family members also came to stay with them. There was not much space, but the house was full of love and support. Even though they had little money, the family worked hard and stayed united. When Sundar was 12 years old, his family got their first telephone. It was a rotary phone. To make a call, you had to turn the dial for each number. Sundar became very interested in this phone. He wanted to know how it worked. He also had a special memory. After dialing a phone number once, he could remember it perfectly. His family was surprised. They realized that Sundar had a special gift. At school, Sundar was a quiet boy. He did not talk much. He never tried to be the center of attention. But he was very smart. He always got high marks in his exams. He liked subjects like mathematics and science. He didn't study only to pass tests. He studied because he enjoyed learning. His school, called Jawahar Vidyalaya, was not a famous or expensive school, but it had good teachers, and Sundar made the most of every lesson. Because his family did not have much money, Sundar did not have many books at home. He often borrowed books from classmates. He made careful notes. He used his time wisely. When other kids played outside, he often stayed home to read. He listened to the radio to improve his English. He learned new words and practiced pronunciation. Sundar's childhood was not full of material things, but it was rich with curiosity and effort. He was always interested in how things worked. He wanted to know how phones, radios, and machines were built. He enjoyed opening things to see what was inside. Sometimes, he helped fix more machines around the house. He even helped classmates fix their broken fans. His hands were small, but his mind was full of big ideas. His family could not afford a computer, so Sundar had never used one. He did not wear branded clothes. He did not go to special classes or tutoring centers. But he had something very important desire. A strong desire to learn, to grow, and to become someone who could solve problems. At the school library, Sundar once read a book about engineers in America. The book had pictures of big laboratories, computers, and students building things. He looked at those pictures and thought, one day, maybe I can study in a place like this. That was the moment a dream was born. It was a small thought, but it gave him motivation. Sundar was not only smart, he was also kind. He helped classmates who did not understand lessons. He explained things in simple ways. He never made others feel small. He listened with care and spoke with respect. He was loved by his friends and teachers because of his humble nature. Even when life was hard, Sundar stayed focused. He did not waste time. He didn't complain about heat, noise, or small space. He stayed disciplined. He studied late at night when everyone else was asleep. He believed that hard work could take him far. This was the beginning of a long and inspiring journey. From a small two-room house in a crowded city, with no computer, no internet, and limited resources, Sundar Pichai started walking on the path that would one day lead him to become one of the most important leaders in the world. After finishing high school, Sundar Pichai continued his education at one of the most respected engineering colleges in India. This college was called IIT Kharagpur. Getting accepted into this school was not easy. Thousands of students applied every year, but only the best were chosen. Sundar had studied very hard, and his hard work was rewarded. His whole family was very proud of him. At IIT, Sundar chose to study metallurgical engineering. This is the study of metals and how they are used in different industries. Some people may ask, why not computer science? The truth is, Sundar had never used a computer before. His school did not have many computers, and his family could not afford one. He chose metallurgy because he wanted to learn something useful, and it was a subject he could access without needing expensive tools. Life at IIT was a big change. Students came from all over India. Many of them were from rich families. They spoke fluent English. They wore modern clothes and had computers of their own. Sundar, on the other hand, was shy. His English was still improving. He didn't have fancy clothes or gadgets. At first, he felt nervous, but he didn't let fear stop him. Instead of trying to impress others, he focused on learning. Sundar spent many hours in the computer lab. Even though he had never used a computer before, he was very curious. He watched what others were doing. He asked questions. He read books about programming and software. Slowly, he began to teach himself how to code. He didn't try to compete with others, he competed with himself. Every day, he tried to be a little better than the day before. While studying at IIT, Sundar started to dream bigger. He heard about students who went to study in America. He read stories about famous universities like Stanford and MIT. He thought, what if I try too? He decided to apply for a master's degree at Stanford University in California, one of the top universities in the world. To his great surprise and joy, Sundar was accepted, but now came the hardest part, money. The flight ticket from India to the United States was very expensive. It cost more than his father's entire yearly salary. There were no online fundraisers at that time. There were no sponsors. Just one family with big dreams and a lot of heart. Sundar's father didn't hesitate. He took a loan. He used up all the family's savings. He borrowed money from friends and relatives. He said, "This is our chance. Let's not miss it." With one suitcase, a few clothes, and a heart full of hope, Sundar flew from Chennai to California. It was his first time on an airplane. Arriving in the United States was a big culture shock. Everything was new. People spoke English very fast. The food was different. The streets were quiet. In classrooms, students asked teachers questions without fear. Everyone seemed confident. At first, Sundar felt lost. He missed home, he missed Indian food, he missed his family. But he remembered why he came to learn. At Stanford, Sundar saw a computer connected to the internet for the first time. He just sat and stared at it. In India, he had never seen anything like it. Now, he had 24-hour access to computers, libraries, and world-class professors. He felt like he had entered a different world. But instead of feeling small, he felt inspired. He studied materials science and engineering. He took notes, asked questions, and sat in the front row. He spoke slowly, but he listened carefully. Over time, his English got better, his confidence grew. He made friends from many countries. One of his first friends was Kenji, a student from Japan. Kenji gave Sundar an old laptop and helped him practice English. They studied together, shared meals, and became close friends. Even though life in America was not easy, Sundar never gave up. He lived simply. He shared an apartment with other students. He ate basic meals and saved money carefully. Once, he saw a backpack he really liked, but it was too expensive. He waited for months, saved little by little, and finally bought it. He understood the value of every dollar. After finishing his master's degree at Stanford, Sundar had many choices. He could go back to India. He could find a job in a normal company. But he wanted to grow more. He wanted to understand how businesses worked. So, he applied to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania for an MBA. Again, he was accepted, and again, he worked very hard. At Wharton, he was named a Seville Scholar and a Palmer Scholar, titles given to the top students. Imagine this, a boy who didn't see a computer until college was now studying among future CEOs and leaders. And still, he stayed the same, humble, kind, and full of curiosity. Sundar Pichai did not come from a rich family. He did not have perfect English. But he had something more important: the courage to keep learning, the discipline to keep going, and the heart to stay true to himself. His journey from a small room in Chennai to the classrooms of Stanford and Wharton is a story of hope and belief. It shows that with hard work, anything is possible. After finishing his MBA from Wharton, Sundar Pichai had many good options. He had strong degrees, work experience, and a great mind. He could join big companies or return to India. But he had one dream: to build something that helps people around the world. In 2004, he applied for a job at a growing tech company called Google. At that time, Google was already famous for its search engine, but it was not as big as it is today. Sundar prepared well for the interview. He studied technical questions, product ideas, and company goals. During the interview, he stayed calm and gave smart answers. He didn't try to impress with big words. He just spoke clearly and honestly. One question changed everything. The interviewer asked, "What would you improve about Google?" Sundar replied, "I think the homepage can be even simpler, and we can build tools around the search engine." This answer showed that he was not only a good thinker, but he also understood what users need. He got the job. Sundar started working as a product manager. His first project was the Google Toolbar. This small tool helped people search from their internet browser without opening the Google website. It was not a popular or high-status project. Many people didn't think it was important, but Sundar saw the future. He believed that if people could search more easily, they would use Google more. He worked hard, day and night, to improve the toolbar. He studied how users behaved. He focused on making the experience faster and smoother. Later, Sundar noticed something important. Most people were using other browsers like Internet Explorer or Firefox. These browsers were often slow and full of problems. Sundar had a bold idea. He thought, what if Google builds its own browser? It was a big risk. Google was a search company, not a browser company. Many leaders inside Google did not agree. They thought it would cost too much time and money, but Sundar believed in the idea. He didn't give up. He made presentations. He shared prototypes. He explained how a browser could improve the whole internet experience for users. Slowly, he convinced more people. Finally, Larry Page, one of Google's founders, said, "Let's do it." Sundar built a small team and started working on the new browser. In 2008, Google Chrome was launched. It was fast, clean, and simple. People loved it. In a few years, Chrome became the #1 browser in the world. This success made Sundar a rising star inside Google. But he stayed humble. He didn't show off. He didn't act like a boss. He focused on helping users and supporting his team. He worked on many other products, like Gmail, Google Maps, Google Drive, and Android. He always asked one simple question: how does this help the user? That question became his guide. Sundar's leadership style was very different. He didn't shout or give long speeches. He listened. He gave people space to share ideas. He respected others. He believed that the best ideas come from teamwork. People at Google said, "Sundar makes you feel smart." Even if he is the smartest person in the room, he was calm, kind, and focused. In August 2015, something big happened. Google announced that Sundar Pichai would become the new CEO. It was a normal Monday. Sundar walked into the office like always. He didn't bring bodyguards. He didn't make a big speech. He just smiled, listened, and asked, "What can we do to help our users more?" This was the kind of leader he was: simple, thoughtful, and user-focused. Being the CEO of Google is not easy. Every day, Sundar makes decisions that affect billions of people. Google runs products like YouTube, Maps, Gmail, Android, and many more. The company works with governments, schools, and businesses around the world. Every action is watched and judged. In 2018, Sundar had to speak in front of the US Congress. Lawmakers asked hard questions about privacy, politics, and power. Many people would be nervous, but Sundar stayed calm. He explained how Google works. He used simple words. He didn't argue, he educated. That day, the world saw not just a tech expert, but a real leader. Even inside Google, there were challenges. Employees protested about certain company decisions. Some were worried about how artificial intelligence would be used. Sundar didn't hide. He held open meetings. He listened to everyone. He made changes where needed. He led with respect. In 2019, Google's founders created a new company called Alphabet. It became the parent company of Google and other projects like self-driving cars and AI research. Sundar was chosen to lead Alphabet too. Now, he was the CEO of both Google and Alphabet. Even with this great power, Sundar stayed the same. He drank tea in the morning, read the news, and spent time with his family. He was married to Anjali, the same girl who supported him in college. They had 2 children, and Sundar always made time for them. He didn't live a flashy life. He didn't talk about money or fame. He talked about ideas, about making life better for people. When someone asked why he lived so simply, he said, "My goal was never to be rich. My goal was to be useful." Sundar Pichai's story shows us something important. You don't need to be loud to be a leader. You don't need to come from a rich family to succeed. You need to listen, to work hard, to stay curious, and to help others. That is true leadership. That is how Sundar became a leader who listens. Sundar Pichai's story is a journey of hope, hard work, and humility. He was born in a small apartment in Chennai, India. His family did not have much, but they gave him love, support, and strong values. From a very young age, Sundar was curious. He wanted to learn. He didn't have access to technology, expensive books, or a quiet study room. But he had something even more powerful, a deep desire to grow and an never-give-up attitude. He studied hard at school, listened carefully to his father's lessons about machines, and never wasted time. Even when life was difficult, Sundar stayed focused. When he went to IIT, he was shy and quiet, but he believed in learning. He taught himself how to use computers. He applied to Stanford University, and with the help of his parents' sacrifice, he traveled to the United States to chase his dream. In a new country, with a new culture and fast English, Sundar worked harder than ever. He studied at Stanford, then at Wharton, and slowly built a new life. He never forgot his roots. He stayed humble, kind, and curious. When he joined Google, he started with small projects, but always gave his best. His work on Chrome, Gmail, and Android helped millions of people. Finally, he became the CEO of Google and later Alphabet. Even with so much power, Sundar stayed simple. He focused on making life better for others. He believed in teamwork, respect, and listening. He showed the world that real leaders do not shout. They understand, they care, and they act with kindness. So, what can we learn from Sundar's life? The biggest lesson is this: you don't need to be rich to achieve great things. You don't need to speak perfect English. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. What you need is passion, discipline, and the courage to keep going, even when things are hard. You must believe in your dream and work quietly every day to make it real. In your own life, take small steps every day. Use the resources you have. Learn from others, be patient, help the people around you. Don't try to be perfect, just try to be better than yesterday. That's how Sundar did it, and so can you. And now, congratulations. If you listen to this full story, you have not only learned about Sundar Pichai, but you have also improved your English listening and understanding skills. That's a big achievement, and you should be proud. Let's have a quick fun question to test your memory. Question: where did Sundar Pichai go for his master's degree? A. Harvard University. B. Stanford University. Comment your answer below by writing A or B. Let's see how many of you remember the correct answer. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow and brings us motivation to make more free content to help you learn English in a fun and inspiring way. If you enjoyed this story and want to support our channel, you can also donate to help us continue creating more meaningful content. In the beginning, it's very difficult to make high-quality lessons, and we are doing this for free to support your English learning journey. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope to see you again in our next story. Keep learning, keep growing, and never stop believing in yourself.